Okay, we are now actually moving on to the YouTube comments. I have not read any of these, so some of these are going to be questions, some of them are going to be your thoughts on the film. I didn't want to read any of these because I didn't want to like think up questions in advance, and I wanted to be like legitimately surprised when you guys asked me this stuff. So yeah, all right, hopefully these are good. There are a ton of them. We are not going to get to them all. I apologize to everybody who we are not going to be able to get to. I'm just going to scroll down these as fast as I can. One person asked, is this an April Fool's joke? Yes, it was. My positive review at the beginning of that video that I made for Batman v Superman was an April Fool's joke, and I was actually terrified of putting that up there because I could see people. I got like a solid 3 minutes in that video before I reveal it was an April Fool's joke. And I tried to slowly up the weird compliments I was giving this film so that people would realize it was one. But I was really worried that people, before it got to the point in which it was obvious, would just go, what the? And just like click out of there or like hit the unsubscribe button. But yeah, it was an April Fool's joke. I still really do not like this film. And I do not think that they should have killed Jimmy Olsen, and I do not think that Superman should not have friends, and I do not think that the stiff acting between Henry Cavill and Amy Adams was actually them doing that on purpose to try and make Superman look like a loner. No, I do not believe any of that stuff. So, okay. Let's see, that is a long one. I will come back to that if I have time. JD Perez, another person who comments a lot, thank you for that. They asked, how would you have done Batman versus Superman? That's a big ass question. I tried not to think about this honestly that much. I know this is gonna sound weird because I know like everybody out there who gives this a negative review is also gonna come in and go, this is how they should have done it. I tried not to do that because I didn't want it to seem like I was just going, this is how it should have been, and it wasn't the thing that I wanted, so I'm gonna be harsh on it. It's like, no, I just want to judge this specifically on how it is. How would I have done it? Actually, you know what? The very simple answer to this is just make it the world's finest cartoon crossover episode that they did, the hour-and-a-half long movie that they made back in the 90s, which they crossed over Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series. That to me was perfect. You do need a villain at the end. So I would have kept Lex Luthor in there because you need to have Lex in there. But I would have had it also kind of be a crossover between, like, again, I don't want to just make this the world's finest cartoon, because that was Lex Luthor teaming up with the Joker, and it was awesome. They had amazing chemistry. But I would have cast Denzel Washington as Lex Luthor. That people were saying he was in there for negotiations about, I would have just given him whatever he needed, because that dude would have been awesome in there. But I would have had Lex be the villain for Superman. And then for Batman, I would have gone with the Joker, because I feel like we still need a little bit more time before you can just introduce the Joker. Like, they're going to introduce him in Suicide Squad, and it's like, alright, that's fine. But in a film in which you're introducing Batman and Lex Luthor, I think putting in there this other gigantic, huge, dynamic personality of the Joker might have been too much for new audiences to take in all at once. I'm going to set this aside now because this is going to be a long talk. I apologize to everybody whose question we're going to skip because I'm going to spend so much time on this. So maybe like the Riddler. Maybe would have been a good one to put in there. No, Ra's al Ghul. Damn, Ra's al Ghul would have been great. Ra's al Ghul looks at Gotham as being like this big center of like crime and corruption, but have him like look at like Metropolis as like, you know, this city that is like a golden calf or something, like something where they're just worshiping false gods. So it's like, well, I have to destroy this because this is the home of Superman, this being out there who is saving the weak, and that's what Ra's al Ghul is against. It's like, nope, cut everybody off, let only the strong come back. So yeah, it's like, okay, so Ra's al Ghul and Lex Luthor wants him to do it so that he can then rebuild Metropolis afterwards and get all the building contracts for it. I am literally making this up off the top of my head, by the way. I swear to you, I did not have this plan. Have Lex... Okay. I'm going to try and not get into like specific plot details at this point, because then I'm just going to get jumbled up in it. But yeah, so I would have them be the villains. I would have had them try and pit Batman and Superman against each other, because they both know that they're the ones who could stop them. So they're like, all right, get these guys to take each other down. And going like that, then yeah, you can have Lex playing off Batman. You can have him like setting up stuff like setting up the kryptonite for him to get, stuff like that. But I wouldn't have done any of the stuff about like Lex has his mom and that's why they had to fight, because these two were clearly going right at each other to begin with. So you really just need a nudge here or there. You didn't need some big thing like that. And I would have played up a lot more interactions between these two. Like, don't have one interaction before they fight in which he literally just comes up, rips the doors off his car and goes, "This is it for you, don't do this again," and then flies away. Like, no, give us like one quick thing like that. Then one like little scuff, like one little like actual battle in between, in which Batman like very narrowly escapes, but he actually does learn some stuff about Superman in that, and then he actually starts to prep up in it. Then you lead up to the big actual battle, and then the battle itself, the battle, it doesn't really matter who wins. Honestly, it doesn't, as long as you actually have a good reason for them to stop fighting, and then have them actually go off and actually stop the two guys who they need to stop. Let me see, anything else I've done? Another thing I definitely would have done, I would not have had Gotham and Metropolis right across the street from each other. Like, if you want to have them close by, that's fine, but, have Batman leave Gotham and go to Metropolis, because that's where this big plan is going to go down, but have it be also because Bruce Wayne is going on a business meeting to meet up with Lex Luthor, and then all of a sudden Superman starts discovering that the Bat Vigilante is going around Metropolis as well. But also, that would give you a great excuse to shoot the two cities differently. Like, there is no way that Metropolis would be this big, bright, shining, beautiful city, and Gotham would have been just this run-down, desolate wasteland of a city, and they're literally a stone's throw from each other.
I don't know. We've walked down streets in New York and we've seen like some blocks that are like really run down, and then like a couple blocks so we see like these fancy, expensive buildings.
Yeah, but that's a block. That's one neighborhood. You can have crap neighborhoods, an entire crap city next to an entire utopia. No way.
No, it'd just be like Gotham apartments next to like Metropolis apartments.
Yeah. Like someone actually, I was listening to another podcast where somebody pointed out something really great, which is that if these two cities were that close to each other, they would not be separate cities. It would have been like Gotham Metropolis would be the name of the city.
Yeah.
They'd be like two cities that started off small, then eventually join together. But yeah, I would definitely make sure to shoot the cities differently. Have Gotham be the rundown place. Have Metropolis be a place that's constantly bright and shining and wonderful. And also, Superman would have talked a lot. A lot in this movie. Have Superman talk. I would have had cat and mouse stuff going on between the characters throughout this entire thing. Like, going back to that World's Finest movie, the moment in which Batman learns who Clark Kent is an amazing moment in there. I don't know if you ever saw it, but basically they run into each other when Batman is trying to stop this crime boss. Superman just comes in here, uses his X-ray vision, sees it's Bruce, and goes, "Bruce?" And then Batman just goes, "You peaked." And it was great because Batman wasn't fazed at all. He was just pissed. Like, yeah, that's what Batman would be. But then the best part was Superman just tosses him around, gets the best of him. Batman narrowly escapes. And then when Superman gets home, he's talking to Lois on the phone, takes off his suit, folds it up nicely, and then he just hears this little beep, 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 beep. And then he looks over on his cape. There's a little bat tracker, and then he stares out the window like a mile down the street on top of another building. He sees Batman with binoculars, and he takes them off and just waves. And I went, damn. It's like, we never got an exchange between these two guys half as good as that in this movie. And it's like, yeah, cat and mouse between these guys. These are two very intelligent guys, very powerful guys. Use that back and forth. I would also have brought in their entire roster of characters. I don't mean like villains. Like I said, the Joker would have been way too dynamic of a character to bring in, to introduce at the same time as Lex Luthor and Batman.
You mean like Robin and Supergirl
like,
and all that?
Not them, but Jimmy Olsen, Lucius Fox. Yeah, like, they're supporting guys. Although, if Batman was on the phone with Dick Grayson at one point, I'd be down with that. Like, we all know that Barbara Gordon was supposed to be in here at one point. Heck yeah, bring in Oracle. I know some people will be like, why not as Batgirl? It's like, because then that would be another superhero to throw into the mix. You throw in Oracle, you have a great person for Batman to be talking to try and be getting intel and be like, yeah, But that would also establish totally different worlds. And that's what I want. I want this to feel like two different worlds coming together, but not like, hey, you need to read all this stuff in the comics. Like, just enough of their supporting cast that we know they have lives going on outside of this scuffle between the two of them. And it makes the entire universe feel richer and deeper. That wasn't, like, that started off with me giving, like, a plot of how I would have done it. But it kind of, you know, just sank into, like, my general ideas. But,
you should start writing a fanfic.
And then they kissed. How great would it have been if this movie just ended with them just making out? I'm kidding. That would not have been... I don't know. If that's what you wanted to see, go for it. I'm not going to judge you. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, that one took a long-ass time. Okay, moving on. Jonathan Chow, another loyal fan who comments constantly. Thank you for that. How do you think they would do Red Hood now seeing that Batman kills people? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I brought this up in the spoiler discussion, which is that, like, I did not have a problem really with Batman killing people in this film, not because it was like, oh, this is betrayal of the character, but just simply because it was like, yeah, of course he does. It was like, I was just so beaten down by this movie.
So you just gave up by that point. Like,
I was like, Batman's murdering people, he's using a gun to do it, alright,
he's branding people, murdering them. Why not? Why not?
Why not? But yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it until I was listening to the Angry Joe review of it, and he brought something up, which is like, Batman doesn't kill people, so if in this universe he kills people, why is the Joker still alive? And I was like, damn! We know he killed Robin! We know that the Joker killed Robin, so yeah, if Batman was willing to kill other people just because he took someone's mom hostage, why not? Why would he let him go? So I'm like, yeah, how would you do the Red Hood in this? And there's a rumor going around. There is, I don't know if everybody's heard this, but the rumor is that the Robin that was killed was actually Dick Grayson, because apparently there was a deleted scene that someone saw in which Batman was staying over a grave, and the grave said Dick Grayson. So they're saying that was the Robin that was killed. And they're saying that this Joker is actually Jason Todd, the second Joker who went crazy and became, the second Robin who went crazy and he's become the Joker. I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're doing. If it is, I can totally see them doing that. And honestly, if they do that, I'd be miffed. But on the list of my problems with this cinematic universe and what they've done with these characters so far, I'd be like, sure, whatever. But honestly, if you're going to do another Batman film, which we know they're doing another Batman film, the rumor is that Red Hood would be the villain in it. I would totally be down with that, especially because we've already set up that a Robin died, so if that was Jason Todd, I would totally be fine with them doing that. I don't know what explanation you could use for him coming back to life, because he's had like 3 different explanations for how he's come back to life. I would just go with the Lazarus Pit theory, that Ra's al Ghul threw him in the Lazarus Pit, he came out of it kind of crazy. I'd be fine with that, as long as they have some kind of a discussion about Jason Todd's come back and he's just murdering people, and then Batman comes in and is like, you can't do that. And it's like, well, why? You've killed people. And it's like, well, I did because I had to. You're just going out there for bloodlust. You're just going out there for vengeance. And it's like, well, what's the difference between us? And it's like, oh my gosh, I've become everything that I ever hated. Like, Jason Todd could be that thing that makes Batman realize he's gone too far. Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard thinking of how they could do the cinematic universe with some of these things, but okay. Let's see. Freddy Awesome 1, another guy who comments a lot. Thank you. This is such an April Fool's joke. Called it at the 2-minute mark. Nice try, Thorgi, but you're gonna have to get up pretty early in the morning to pull a fast one on me. Alright, good. The 2-minute mark, I think that's the exact moment in which I said the directing genius of Zack Snyder. I figured that would be the key word that woke people up that I wasn't being for real. Legendu991. Are you still going to be excited for other Justice League films such as Justice League and Wonder Woman? Also, do you think that a Squadron Supreme movie could totally steal the thunder? A dick move by Marvel. Oh my god. Oh, they couldn't get a Squadron Supreme movie out there in time. For anybody who doesn't know, in Marvel Comics, the Squadron Supreme is a superhero team that comes from an alternate universe, and it's the Justice League. It's totally the Justice League, but they use them to show like what it would be like if heroes existed in the real world, and this happened back in like the 80s when no one was doing that. it was groundbreaking when they gave the Squadron Supreme like a 12-part series, and it was basically them going, listen, you people clearly can't take care of yourself, so we're just kind of gonna rule the world. Not evil, just gonna kind of come in here and we're gonna, do this and this and this. And it's like, no, those things are in the Geneva Convention. It's like, no, it's cool. We're gonna do it. We're gonna turn the world into utopia, and they did, but it was like a utopia without freedom. I was like, damn, this is really like groundbreaking for something back in the '80s. But like I said, it was the Justice League. So yeah, if Marvel could surprise us all and reveal they had a Squadron Supreme movie in the mix, and they had been doing it for the past like 3 years, and it was coming out 2 weeks before Justice League, you'd be like, you genius motherfuckers. They're not doing that, obviously, but that'd be great. We already talked about which ones we're excited for. Not Justice League, pretty much everything else. Although I will say, if they wanted to use Squadron Supreme, like if people kept getting upset with these Zack Snyder DC movies and how dark they were, if Marvel wanted to do a Squadron Supreme film, which was basically their commentary on the DC Cinematic Universe and how messed up that world is, that would actually kind of be brilliant. I would have to give them a lot of praise.
I would like to see that, and since it was made in the 80s, I'd like to see them like come around with like tacky 80s clothes and making everything fun and silly again.
Oh, you should see some of the ways that they dress. But I mean, it was like really, for its day and age, it was really dark, and it was a great commentary on superheroes in general, especially like really big, powerful superheroes like the Justice League and how dark they could get, and considering the fact that the DC Cinematic Universe is basically doing that exact thing. Like, because I knew someone who I used to work with, in which he said, the only way in which I would be okay with this DC Cinematic Universe after he saw Man of Steel is if it was revealed that this was actually all taking place on Earth 3, which is the universe in DC Comics where good is bad and bad is good, and this was actually the evil crime syndicate league. I was like, that's not gonna happen, brother. But if Marvel wanted to come in after everybody, because people were saying, oh, it's just the critics who are upset. No, it's not. Audiences are pretty miffed about this as well. Like, audiences are pretty, like, split right down the middle, like 50-50 on this thing. If Marvel wanted to come in and basically make a film that basically was a commentary on what DC was doing with these characters, that'd be kind of brilliant. Maybe not even do it as an entire movie, but maybe do it as, like, the 4th or 5th Avengers film in which they have to go and stop them. I'd be totally fine with that. I never even thought about it until right now. I think that's awesome. Alright, let's keep going. I gotta be faster with these. So forgive me, everybody, if I start moving really quickly through your stuff. Let's see, this one comes from Calvin S. Hi, Professor Thorgi. What are your hopes for the Justice League movie, given that your thoughts are about Batman vs. Superman? Is there a way to turn this franchise around? A second question might be, what do you think of the casting of Ezra Miller as Flash? We already kind of answered that one, which is that I gotta have more hope for it. Alright, and he's a talented actor, so fine. I think he would make a better Wally than Barry, I'll say that though. But he's going to be Barry. Let's see. What are your hopes for the Justice League movie? We already kind of answered that as well.
Are we just gonna cut all this out?
No, because is there a way to turn this franchise around?
It's just like a lot of people are asking the same question, so I was...
Oh yeah, absolutely, but this guy did ask something different.
Oh, okay.
Is there a way to turn this franchise around? We didn't talk about that. There actually is. And that is to basically kind of go... It's basically for DC to go, this is the problem with our universe. This is the problem that everybody is saying with it. And as I said, I don't know what the box office this weekend is going to be. But that Friday box office said a lot. That basically everybody went and saw this simply because it was Batman vs. Superman. And because it wasn't that fun, and because the critics didn't really like it, they're not coming back for more. So the first way to turn this around would be to just fire Zack Snyder. They're not going to do that though. However, it all comes down to story. Like, we all love to blame Zack Snyder for this. And Zack Snyder did have a big hand in the story of this, but he didn't actually write the thing. So a lot of this comes down to the writing, and a lot of it comes down to just the tone of it. And the number one thing that you have to do is you have to give this universe hope. You do. You can't let this entire universe be that flat. Like, I was thinking to myself, man, this Superman, he just doesn't care. Why isn't he saving people? And then I realized, yeah, there's a whole montage of him saving people. Why does that not register in my brain? The reason it doesn't register in my brain is because even a montage of him saving people was shot without any hope. without any joy, without him even looking like he was happy. Like that moment.
It's like he's going through the routine. It's like, oh, I've got to save these people. I gotta save those people. I gotta do all that stuff.
It was like a burden to him.
Yeah.
It really was. Like that moment when he saved the people with the Day of the Dead thing, and everybody was reaching out, like trying to touch him, and he just went,
"Stop touching me."
Oh no, it was more just like, I can't be happy. Just nothing makes me happy. He's like, no, you need a Superman who comes in here and rescues someone. And it's just like, it's okay. And then there's like a little sparkle in like his teeth. Like I mean, there's a comic going around. It was a couple of panels from All-Star Superman, written by Grant Morrison, in which is a woman on the top of a building about to jump off and commit suicide. And then Superman just lands behind her and goes, your doctor, it really was late. He really does care about you. And she just hugs him and he just hugs her back. And like, that, we need something like that. We need something that makes us go, this guy cares. This guy is the representation of hope. He's positive in this world. And I think him coming back to life, when he comes back to life, first off, do not bring him back to life after 3 days. I know that you want to make him Jesus. You have hammered that in there way too damn much. So when he comes back, what you do not have him just walk around the planet again. Do not just have him walk around the planet going, what should I do with my powers? Because that was something that drove me nuts, is that we had an entire film where he did that. The moment that something blew up in this film, killing all these people, a thing that any hero or journalist, the two things he's supposed to be, would then come in and go, I have to find the answer to this. He just went, what should I really be doing with my powers? And then went out and walked the world again. Don't do that. And also, I was so happy when they destroyed the suit. When the suit got ripped open there at the end, I was like, thank God, because that suit is bad. What the shit? Someone's clearly a fan. Sorry, there was something going on out there in the hall. But yeah, okay, that suit's bad. I'm sorry, it is. I know that you want to make it look texturized because you're like, it just can't be cloth. It has to look like some weird alien technology. It's too texturized. It's like, I mean, you're the designer. You're the one who's the artist between us. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, it looked like like you could see like every single grain.
Yeah, it looked like mesh.
It did. And like, Superman should not look like he's wearing armor. There's something very important to the fact that Superman's suit did not come from space. It's that, yes, the material for it came from space, but it was made by his mom on Earth. There's something very important to his character about that. That he is a guy who does not care about the fact that, A, my mom made me a costume, and B, yeah, it's something that was made with love. It was not some royal space technology battle armor. It's that, no, it's a thing made with love. And like, that's what he wears.
Like, oh, I found this cloth in your spaceship that you crash landed in. I'm just gonna sew a suit for you out of it.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's importance to that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another great panel from Superman. It was from the a Superman for All Seasons, I think.
But it's like, oh, this mesh alien stuff would make a great suit. Yay! Like.
It's like no one could sew that thing. But no, it needs to actually look like But there's another great panel. It's from Superman for All Seasons, in which this little kid is just looking up at Superman and he goes, I like your costume. And he goes, thanks, my mom made it for me. It's like, there's something very important about that. But yeah, I'm bringing up so many things about this because there is a way to turn around. When he comes back to life, have him come back to life and his powers are kind of wonky and they don't work so he doesn't instantly become Superman again. And Batman and Wonder Woman, they're forming the Justice League. And have the Justice League all have different personalities. Do not have them all be, oh, okay, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, don't do that. Have the Flash be this beacon of hope like he's supposed to be. Have him be upbeat and positive and even jokey. Aquaman, I don't like savage, like one arm with a hook, gritty Aquaman, but that's clearly what they're going for. So if you want to go for that, lean into it and make him different from everybody else. Make it so that Batman looks at that guy like, oh my god. So that he's different. And Cyborg, listen, I know that big part of Cyborg's story is that he's very depressed over the fact that he has lost parts of his body and that he's now more machine than man. I know that is a big part of his story. However, you can't have the depressed Cyborg on this team because everybody else has already been so serious on this team that you can't do that. You need the Teen Titans Cyborg on this team. The one who screams out booyah when he goes in there and fights a group of henchmen. You need that one, okay? You need a big, positive, jokey guy on the team. Cyborg, you got him right there. So you got those guys on the team. Bring in maybe Hal Jordan. I know everybody wants Jon Stewart. But Jon Stewart, once again, was a military guy. So that'd be another really serious guy on the team. Kyle Rayner, I would actually say go with.
You can put Guy Gardner on this.
Guy Gardner would actually be awesome. Oh god, I didn't think about that. Okay. So it's like, I know everybody wants Jon Stewart on the team, and there's way too many white people on this team. You do need somebody else in there. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I want to go with Hal Jordan, but Kyle Rayner is actually like half Hispanic. So it's like, okay, you can go with him, and then you have a fun, positive guy on the team once again. But also, or Jessica Cruz, the brand new one, because again, there's just way too many dudes on this team. So yeah, if you want to go with Jessica Cruz, I'd be fine with that. But then you have a wide variety of personalities on here. Everybody would not be acting the same. So you have them, they're out there, they're a superhero team, and then this is the moment that needs to be in the Justice League movie that to me would say this turned this whole movie around, this turned this entire universe around. You need a moment in which the Justice League is fighting the hordes of Apocalypse, and they're kind of getting their butts kicked. And Superman, his powers have been kind of wonky, but then his mom comes in and she doesn't give him the little "you don't owe this world a thing" speech. No, she gives him a speech about how proud his dad would be of him, about all the good that he's done, about what it means to really be a hero, about what's inside of him. And then he goes, "Thanks, Mom." And then all of a sudden the sun starts to rise on him. He starts to feel his powers come back. He realizes it was all in his head. It was a fear of going out there into the battle again. And then he goes, "But I'm gonna need something to wear." And then she goes, "I got just the thing for you." Then you see the battlefield happening. The Justice League is getting their butt kicked. He comes and slams down in the classic Superman costume. I know that you're going to say, "Oh, you just want that because you're a big comic book nut." No, I want it because it's what we need right now. After like how dark and gray it's been, this whole world has been, we kind of need the trunks. We need him to land down there in the trunks, then have like Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner or Barry Allen, just one of the jokey guys, look at him and go, "Nice suit. Did your mom make that for you?" And then he turns around and punches one of Apocalypse's demons into space. And then he turns around and goes, "Yeah, she did." And they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, it looks good. Looks good on you. Okay, cool." That would be the moment. If we had that in the Justice League movie, it would go, that is what is going to let me know that you turned this whole universe around. Okay, I'm sorry. The pitch that guy asked me for about how I would have done Batman vs. Superman, I swear to you I didn't have anything in mind until I read that. I've had this one in mind since I saw Man of Steel. I had that in my mind. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Did I just say that I was going to make these shorter? I mean, sorry, okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut a lot of these out. I'm sorry, guys. This one's from Cougar12. Do you think Zack the Hack Snyder should go away? From this franchise? Yes. I will actually say, I think that Zack Snyder actually is a very talented visual guy. If he just wanted to retire from directing and become a cinematographer and let other people call the shots and he just came in to make stuff look cool, awesome.
Like director of cinematography?
Yeah, like I'd be fine with that. Mm-hmm. But if it comes to anything that is supposed to be of like importance, anything that is supposed to be intelligent in any way, anything that's supposed to have a really big story, keep that dude away from the script. For the love of God, just keep him far away. I have always said for years that the perfect thing for Zack Snyder to work on would be the next Street Fighter movie. Because the only thing I really trust that dude to direct is a Hadouken. I can see him directing that very well and making it look really cool. Aside from that, I do not trust this guy with squat after seeing this film. And also, like I said, yeah, the dude, he can do some really cool visual stuff, so I'd be cool with him doing that. But as for the question of should he go away, he came out and admitted that he was actually, I really don't want to talk about this because it's going to get a nasty argument going in the comments down below. He came out and admitted that he was a diehard Ayn Randian, like the Atlas Shrugged people. Yeah, he is a firm believer in her beliefs. And the moment he said that, it made me look at this movie and go, that's the problem with this. Because anybody who doesn't know about Ayn Rand and her whole philosophies, her basic philosophy was you shouldn't do anything to help anyone unless you yourself get something in return. She basically said that if you go out there and try and help the poor and help the weak, you're basically deteriorating society because you're keeping the useless people around, that she would always put. I can't remember the exact term that she had for people like that, but it was a really offensive term. And she wrote this whole book, Atlas Shrugged, which was about how like the government is evil because they want to come in and regulate the government and regulate these businesses and force these businesses to help out the poor, and that's keeping the businesses from succeeding, and that's what will actually make society strong. And the government, the mean old government, they're going to come in here and try and take that away. And the moment that I found out he was a diehard Ayn Randian, I was like, that's what's wrong with this movie. Superman's mom, the one who came in and taught him to be a hero, coming in and telling him, you don't owe this world a thing. That's Ayn Randian. In the first one, Superman's dad coming in and going, you saved all those people, but it put you at stake, so maybe you should have let them die. Ayn Randian, look out only for yourself. That's the belief of them. And also in this one, like, the fact that the government was coming in here and trying to put Superman on trial and trying to put restrictions on him, I was like, this is dumb. Why is this government trying to come in and put restrictions on Superman? Replace Superman with big business, and it's like, that's what all of Atlas Shrugged was about. It was like, you gotta be kidding me. It made me realize what made this movie. And, oh God, it made me realize how wrong they got Superman. And that's why they got him wrong, is because this is what Ayn Rand's Superman is. It's somebody who only goes out there and is like, yeah, I don't know anybody anything. What does this do for me? So after hearing that, yeah, maybe he should go away.
Hey everybody, it's me, Aaron. You remember from the last episode? You saw it, right? What? You didn't see part 1? Well then click on it up there in the top left corner. And if you want to see what comes next, you can click on part 3 up there in the right. That's right, all 3 episodes live at the exact same moment. I'm not gonna make you wait. I just decided to divide this up because this was indeed an epic Q&A session. And by epic, I do not mean great and amazing, I mean long. So, in order to make it less long, I decided to divide up into 3 parts, and I hope that you enjoy every single one of them. And again, if you missed the initial review and spoiler talk, they're down there at the bottom. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoy part 3.